Hey everyone. Let's see, I'm just connecting here. I'm at the office today. There we go. Alright, we're live. Well, this is an important one, as they all are. But here's two concepts that I've been really looking at for myself recently. Various people around me had been telling me to listen to Andy Frisella. I had heard him about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago when I was working with Gerard Adams. He had went out to visit Andy, and I had heard a little bit of Andy, but now it's really I really see the practicality of his message. And here's two things that I've learned that I'm gonna bring a bit more expanded perspective on it, because Andy has his starting point and his message and everything, which I respect it. Yet there's even bigger understanding here that I want to get across. So the first concept that I would encourage you to look at for yourself is be honest. Rank yourself 1 to 100. How much do you give every day? Like, how much of yourself are you really giving to what you perceive that you're here to do? Like, if you were to map out your purpose, if you haven't even mapped that out before for yourself, or like a mission or a vision for yourself, then get on that. Okay, think about this. If you don't give yourself a purpose, you will be part of someone else's purpose. Let me say that again so it's very clear. If you don't give yourself a purpose for your life, you will be part of someone else's purpose, because there are people in this world who understand how the world works, how reality works. They know how to build structures and systems to actually make things happen and create real movement in this world. And it doesn't come just through thinking about it. It comes from actually putting people in the right place and making things happen. I love it. The people who read like Think and Grow Rich, right, by Napoleon Hill, and it's like, oh, I can just visualize it in my mind and then it will happen. If you're thinking like that, then I can guarantee that you haven't had much success in your life, unless your parents are already very wealthy, and then you still don't understand the mechanism by which you're actually being successful. That's called DNA programming. Yet, think about it like this in an analogy. You want to build a building, right? You can visualize it in your mind, sure. Yet, how do you actually make it a reality? Can you just sit there and magically a building pops up? Hell no. We live in a physical reality. So yes, use your mind to create a blueprint and map out the strategy and map out who you need to talk to and in what order. But then you have to actually go get the material. You have to get investors. You have to put people in the right place to actually build it. And this takes years. Some of these skyscrapers take 5, 10, 15 years to build and really get all finished and then become part of our world system as it is. So now for yourself, right? If you don't have that sense of purpose of what it is that you see for your life, whether you want to envision it through like what you're building or who you want to be or who you want to be around or what your family looks like or whatever, however you envision it, I don't really care. What I'm here to help you realize this moment of reckoning is that vision for yourself. What percent are you giving every single day toward it? 10%? 50%? 98%? Consider this. 99% is the same as zero. 99% is the same as zero because there's still one little bit in there of doubt, and doubt can sink a ship. You need to be honestly getting yourself to 100%. And I realize that there's a time and a place, and you might run into moments where you do have doubt and you do question things, and that's okay, but it's going to come back to building your self-trust. And if you went to public school or even private school, unless you were raised by the elite, your self-trust and your ability to actually believe in yourself and your self-esteem got fucked. That's just how it works, especially here in America and in most countries. Everyone that I've talked to, we have grading systems. You have to go to school and you try and get an A in the class, or you aren't good at school, so you just mess around. But that just becomes part of us and how we interpret the world. Now we go out and we want to actually do something with our lives, but we have all this programming about, well, just get good grades or listen to the authority or whatever, right? So it's a whole backward system, because the school system was created by the industrialists, the people who actually knew how reality worked, so that they could filter people through so they could get their mid-level managers and the employees to fill it in. But we live in a world now where if you're an employee, you aren't going to be necessary. In the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to be gone. You're going to be getting a paycheck, either from the government, from unemployment, or you're going to need to actually figure out how to develop yourself. So you're at the point where you can create things for yourself. And that's what I'm working on, and that's who I choose to surround myself with. People who are into sales, people who are into personal development, but not just personal development in the sense of, oh, I feel good or I meditate or some shit like that. Personal development in the sense of realizing we have fear. We are hardwired with fear, and we need to work through that. And it feels uncomfortable, and it's not fun. But when you're doing it with your friends and people that you enjoy working with and checking in on and holding each other accountable, then it's fucking awesome. It's actually the best thing to do. Otherwise, you're going to wither away and die a sad life. So with giving it 100%, this is something that's going to take time, reflection, but then a self-honest commitment of seeing for yourself that what greater thing could you dedicate yourself to? Like, isn't that real self-worth? To value yourself so much that you'd be willing to figure out how to give 100% day after day after day. And you may fall off. You may trip and fall and land on your face. However, it's a process of getting back up, and then learning how to stay in that at that pace so that you're moving full speed ahead at 100% every single day. So that is the first part that I've really, really taken on recently, where I was at, I would waver between like 90% and 100% for a while. And it took me finding the right people with the right mission to commit myself to, where I saw this is worth 100%. I can put everything I have into this, leave it all on the field, so to speak, and it's not going to be in vain. So figure out, and if you don't have something worthy of putting 100% into it, reach out. I can share a few things with you. Now, the other part is that Andy Frisell was talking about that I found real fascinating is this time frame. He called it 1,000 days, and look back 1,000 days beforehand. So about almost 3 years in the past. What were you doing? Is it any different than it is now? I mean, maybe you have a few different friends or a different job or something like that, but are you actually doing something fundamentally different? Are you thinking different thoughts? Are you surrounded by people who are making more money or making more of an impact? Are you living in the same situation? Have you taken on more responsibility? So you to 1,000 years ago or 1,000 days ago, which version of you is better, would you say? Are you going downhill? So that should be another sobering check. Yeah. Guess what? You have this wonderful opportunity called the present moment. Maybe they call it present for a reason, because it's a gift. Where right here and right now, you can actually choose to shift your starting point, and you can change. And this is what Andy Frisell doesn't talk about. So I like his framework, and I do think he has good content, and I'm observing what he's doing. Yet, this is the context that I choose to put myself in, of looking at the entire world, looking at what's best for all. Meaning, would I be willing to swap places with anyone in the world? Do I care about, and obviously you have to use common sense, like if there's some, like you have to understand priority within common sense of you have to first take care of yourself. And then if you have family and people who are depending on you, you have to take care of them too. It shouldn't be at the expense of others and harming others, but you have to use common sense. So like when I talk about equality and valuing all life equally, if there's like, let's say a dog and a human drowning in some hypothetical scenario, I'm going to fucking save the human. Okay, I have common sense. Yet, should I live my life in a way where I'm actively killing off the environment, for example, or I'm okay with the fact that 20,000 kids still die every fucking day from preventable causes? And I'm just over here in my own little bubble saying, well, yeah, but I'm going to like manifest my dreams and like, you know, I'll be good for me and like my friends. But I don't really give a fuck about the fact that all these kids are still dying or sex trafficking happens and stuff like that. Where that stuff doesn't need to happen. We have enough fucking smart people in the world, enough money and resources to actually put solutions in place. Like, why does the sex trafficking happen? Well, it's done by people, it's done by adults who are fucked up with their understanding of power, and people need money. People do crazy things just to make money. So we got to look at changing the money system, but that's a future video. So these 1,000 days, this is what I'm dedicated to and giving 100% to doing what is best. And right now, it's undergoing massive training for myself, like putting in the reps, putting in the time to become the best communicator, the best salesperson, the best leader that I can be. I'm going to be ready to have kids in under 3 years. That's what I'm perfecting. My relationship with Jessica, perfecting that. Expressing more and sharing more of the journey that I'm on. So that is my dedication within the next 1,000 days. And then I have 2 specific goals for myself, which I'll share once I hit them. And now that's what I encourage you to look at for yourself. So in 1,000 days, I just looked it up. It's like August of 2023. Where are you going to be? Is it going to be the same as 1,000 days ago? Or are you going to actually fucking do something different? Maybe for the first time in your life. But it's not so simple as just making one decision. Like, yes, there's that quote, success is a decision away. And in a sense, yes, it's one decision, but then it's followed up by a bunch of other decisions. And it becomes who you are in your day. And so if you're the kind of person who's going to actually dedicate yourself to giving 100% and doing what's best, even if what's best for you is just being a school teacher or something, and or being a stay-at-home mom, or being a mom, and even if you work, but giving the best possible life to your kids. Just look within yourself, honesty. Like, you know. Here's a great exercise for yourself. Grab a piece of paper or just open a note on your phone after this and put in the, write out the question, where am I not being honest with myself? ? And just be brutal and just start fucking writing. Now, you can do stuff with what you write about, and that's why we created the group called Self-Perfected, because it's a framework for you to actually start perfecting yourself, which means becoming as faultless as possible. Because we all have faults, right? We all grew up in a world that was fucked up, and it's still fucked up. It's actually debatably getting more fucked up the more we don't do something about it. But as we perfect ourselves, become as faultless as possible within ourselves, we can then take on more responsibility in the world and then support others who, 1, either can't see it, 2, can't actually help themselves, and then we can step up first as self-leaders, then we can lead other people, but eventually, I don't want to be a fucking leader. I don't want anyone to be a leader. Everyone should be self-leaders, where everyone takes responsibility equally for everything that's here. We're a long ways from that, and that's going to take equal education. That's why we do TechnoTutor. That, because if there's inequality in education, and if some people understand how the financial systems work, and understand how investing works, and understand the nuances of tax and law, and other people don't, of course there's fucking inequality. Of course there is. It's common sense. And what TechnoTutor is about, and what we talk about within Self-Perfected, is about getting everyone equal, but not bringing everyone down, but bringing everyone up. If you investigate Bill Gates when he was young, his ability to read and process information, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, he was coding computers at age 11. He would read books all the time. Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, look at them. The people who run the world. What were they doing as kids? Reading. They were supported, and the way that their parents raised them, along with different environmental factors, they were at a perfect point to learn fast and develop themselves. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't have that. I wasn't reading books on business and making money at age 9. I didn't know about that. I wasn't reading encyclopedias like Elon Musk was. But it's on me to do that for myself. That's what I'm talking about, self-responsibility, self-leadership. So this is what I'm dedicated to in the next 1,000 days and then the next 10,000 days, is giving 100% every single day to the 3 most important things. Changing education. And I don't mean going into schools and talking to school teachers. The school system's already fucked. I mean, one-on-one, talking to people, educating them in shit that matters. Common sense, practical skills. How to communicate, how to make money. How many of you want to make more money? Okay, reach out to me. I have a few different ways I can show you. Practical shit. How to manage your finances. How to feel good every day and make shit happen. How to develop yourself. That's what I mean by education, not fucking school. 2, finances, the economy. We need to change this. I'm dedicated to changing this. That means understanding laws. That means understanding how it works. That means getting very wealthy, being able to navigate the world and talk with people at the highest levels about why it makes sense for them too to come to common sense practical solutions. Because the fact of the matter is, most people in the world are fucking poor and they suffer every day. But we can do something about it. If you have the luxury of having time right now to listen to me, either on the Facebook Live or when the podcast is uploaded later, you have the responsibility, and if you aren't doing something about actually improving the world, you're part of the fucking problem. Then the third part that I'm dedicated to changing is the political system. Whether it's me or people that I'm able to help support put into power, we can all rise up and operate from principle. Because right now, the people at the top are fucking corrupt. So it's on us. If you ever have complained about politics in your life, but you aren't actually doing something about it, then you're part of the problem. So, look for yourself today. 2 points. 1, are you actually giving 100% or not? 2, where are you going to be in 1,000 days? Write it out, dedicate yourself to it, and then let's make it happen. So stay tuned. I have a lot more of this coming. And share this with people. If you got any benefit, fucking share this. It's no good if it's just you and just me who gets this. We need people around the world to all become anomalies. I realize I'm an anomaly. I've built myself this way. I wasn't always that way. But I've focused on developing myself and putting myself in a situation where it fucking sucks and it's uncomfortable. And I feel like I'm in over my head. But then I figure it out and I expand. So for yourself, you got to do that too. But it starts with one decision, then followed up by daily action. And then we can all become anomalies. And then we create the new system by doing just that. Because we're united in principle and agreement. Yet we're also here to actually do what is best. So, all right, everyone.